Hello, everybody. How are you? Welcome. I was so nervous that we wouldn't have any people come, but there are already 32 people on the call. Hello. Please put your name in the chat box. Tell me where you're from. I am so excited that you are here. Yay. This is going to be so great. This is going to be so fun. Well, while I pull up my screen, I want you guys to get some notes out and we will get ready to start. What I wanted to do real quick is while everybody is joining on, I wanted to give you guys a quick do now. So this is the challenge. I want you to go and we're going to do a bit of a scavenger hunt. If you have Instagram, and I know it might be tough because you might have your phone on and you have this webinar on at the same time. If that's the case, don't worry, you can stay on here. But I want you to scroll down in Instagram and find one of the days where I did a challenge. So several times I'll do like $1,000 a day challenge, or back in the day, I did like $100 a day challenge. And I would put on there exactly what I invested in that day to make that amount. So my challenge for you, while we're waiting for a couple more people to come on, is I want you to find one of these days and put into the chat box, what did I invest in that day? Because as we talk today, I want to give you the keys that I use to make money in the stock market. And you guys have at your disposal some different examples of how I did that. So, and actually, let's do this together real fast. I'm gonna give people a couple more minutes. I'm sorry y'all couldn't hear me in the beginning, but here, I'm gonna exit out of here and I'll give you an example myself. So if we were to go into Instagram, like where this idea came from with me doing classes and me teaching people was I started doing these challenges and challenging myself to see how much I could make in a day. And when I first started out I was actually in education, I needed to make $300 a day to quit my job and start traveling around the world. So I was working really hard, and I'll tell you guys more of my story in just a second. And good, you guys can hear me now. If you can't see anything, do a refresh, or if you can't hear me, do a refresh. You should be able to see now. Yes, do a refresh your screen and it should come up. Good. But when I was teaching or I was an assistant principal of an elementary school, I really wanted to leave. I was just kind of at a point where I just wasn't challenged anymore and it wasn't my passion. So to do that, I needed to make $300 a day. And that's how I started trading actively for income. So I started doing these challenges on Instagram. Oh, here's one. So this is one actually that I did in December when the stock market was falling. But in these clips, I actually said what I did to make the money. So if you guys want to know, like, oh, is this real? Is she really telling us, what she really does? Yes. This is how you can go and check to see what I was doing to make the money. But we're going to go even more in depth here in our session today. But I wanted to give you guys just this touch point so you can know, okay, this is what she's teaching us and this is why. And if anybody is doing the scavenger hunt, let me see. What did I invest in this day? Woke up, check stocks. Oh, President Trump was acting crazy this day. Probably didn't have I don't know if I had anything on this one. Let's see what I did on this day. This day, okay. Oh, I invested in Netflix and Boeing this day. So people ask me all the time, well, give me some stock tips. Disclaimer, and let me say this from up front. And here, I'm going to stop sharing real quick so y'all can see my whole face. Can you guys see my whole face? Disclaimer, I am not a broker or a financial advisor. So everything that I give you today is just how I trade in the stock market. So I'm telling you my story and what I do to make money, but this is not advice. So all of this session is for educational purposes. And please don't go and say, well, I did this because Teri said so. Nope, I'm not an advisor. This is for educational purposes only. Just wanted to put that disclaimer out there. Now let's get started. All right, guys, I'm going to share my screen now. If you have notes, I would suggest taking them out because we're going to learn a ton today. And let me make sure that you guys are still with me. I'm going to open up my presentation. And anytime you guys want, you can go back onto Instagram and look for some of those challenges. And I can show, and it'll tell you kind of what I was doing to make the money. Does that sound good? And hello, welcome. I can't hear anyone. I'm having connection issues. Okay, guys. Are other people able to hear? Can you guys hear me? If you have any issues, go in and just refresh your screen. I was on a webinar just a second ago, and we also were having a few issues, but you just have to refresh your screen and it would work. Okay, good. Rachel says she can hear. Marilyn D says she can hear. Perfect. So let's go. All right. So let's start. What you are wondering. So if you're here today, you're probably wondering a few things. So you're wondering, is it really possible to make money in the stock market? How quickly can you see results in your bank account? How much does it take to get started? That's why we're all here, right? And then if you have started, maybe you're wondering, what am I doing wrong, or am I wasting my time? Well, this is why this session is important for you right now. Maybe you're stuck in a job that you don't like and you need a side hustle to supplement your income. Or maybe you tried investing before and now you're looking for a better solution so that you can really start building wealth. Oh, April, I'm not going to proceed without you. Just keep going. You're going to get it. Refresh. And Lori says she can't either. You guys go ahead, turn up your sound. Theo says no sound. Other people can hear. Okay, maybe you have it on mute or turn your volume up. Okay, or maybe you have a big goal like buying a house or paying off debt and could use some extra cash to bring down your balances and reach your goal faster. Or maybe you've saved up and you know that you could invest, but you're not sure how to get started. Well, imagine if, oh good, if you're having issues, then Chetty just put in a solution in the chat box. Cool. So imagine if you could make $1,000 a day from anywhere in the world without having to clock into a job or have a lot of money to start with. Or imagine if you could consistently move money from your trading account into your daily, monthly, or into your personal account on a daily, monthly, or weekly basis. Oh, what if you could control your own time? And guys, this was the big one for me. I just didn't want to have to ask my boss for permission to take time off. Like, he shouldn't get a say. I should be the one in charge of my schedule. So here's what happened to me. I went from in 2016 making negative returns on my investments and $4,000 a month as an assistant principal to in 2018 averaging about $1,000 a day in trading and being able to travel all over the world for a month at a time. And this is how I did it. So I actually learned about, okay, good, people can hear, good. So I actually learned about investing back in high school. I went to this program at Northwestern University, and we got to go to the stock exchange in Chicago. And then I continued learning a little bit more at MIT in college. So did finance, interned on Wall Street. I actually interned on at Morgan Stanley on Wall Street. And it was a great, great experience. But at the same time, they didn't teach you how to invest for yourself. And some of you guys may be in that boat. You've been around investing, you've heard about the stock market, but you don't know how to do it for yourself. And it wasn't actually until the stock market crashed and the housing market fell apart that I decided to invest in the stock market. I originally went to invest in a home, and we're going to actually talk about the numbers of investing in a home versus investing in the stock market in a little bit. But I was going to put like a $35,000 down payment on a home, but my realtor kept talking about how he was making money in the stock market. So I decided, wait, am I going to put this money in this house, or could I do better somewhere else? And then that's when I decided to invest in the stock market. So I opened up, the only thing I knew at the time was an E-Trade account, and it works. I have like a whole course that goes into what brokerages you should go into, what type of things to open. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit, but just know if you want help on figuring out how to open a brokerage account, we can talk through that too. So here's what's happened to me. There's another piece to this story, and I'm looking over trying to see if people are able to connect and hear. It seems like most people are, so I'm really sorry for anyone who can't. But the big thing that happened to me is one of my friends passed away, and he passed away really young, like at the age of 31, and it was because of a fluke accident. So he went in for something simple and they gave him the wrong medicine that he had an allergic reaction to. So it was just like all of a sudden he was here one day, the next day he wasn't. And for me, that was a light bulb switch. Like, life is too short to be inside of a job that I don't like, or to live expecting that maybe sometime in the future things would be better. Like, I needed to do something right now to change how my situation was. And that's when I decided to take that investing from a side thing that I did just in my pastime to be something serious that I would commit to. So I started taking classes, and this is me like really honing in on learning how to be a good investor in the stock market. And it worked. I actually was able to start trading full time, and I was able to quit my job in 2017. So this is me in Australia. We are just off and doing the dang thing. And I don't want to even say we, it was me. I was all over the world for a good minute. I was in Israel, Thailand. This is Australia, Fiji, anywhere the airplane would take me. That's where I was going. And it felt so good. But while I was gone, people kept asking me to teach them how to trade. And that's how I started actually putting classes together for other people. And that's how like I actually now even have an online course. So that's enough about me. Oh, good. Latoya says she can hear just fine. So that's good, y'all. I was a little nervous. I was like, I'm talking, they can't hear me. Okay, good. But that's enough about me. Now let's talk about you all. So the purpose of this class is to share why investing is such a good tool to build wealth. A lot of times people will talk about real estate investing. They'll talk about just other side hustles, but rarely do people talk about how investing in the stock market can be used to make active income. So we'll talk about that so that you can understand it. Then I'm going to give you 4 secrets to get started, and even more in depth. Like I showed you guys those Instagram posts in the beginning, I'm going to share with you 4 secrets of how I make now like averaging about $1,000 a day in the stock market. So we'll talk through some secrets for that. And then lastly, I'll talk to you about how you can work alongside me. If you're interested in like, hey, Teri, I'm ready for this. I really need some help. Like, how can you help me? Then we'll talk about it. All right, so let's talk about this piece of why investing is good for building wealth. So I want to just give you kind of a side-by-side of investing in real estate versus investing in the stock market. So with investing in real estate, so this is like a example. So you have your rent, and your rent is $1,500. So, you know, that's exciting. We're bringing in $1,500 a month from our renters and our tenants, and we're so excited. But now we have our mortgage that we're paying $1,000 a day, or not $1,000 a day, we're paying $1,000 a month on. Okay, so we have our rent for $1,500, but our mortgage is $1,000. And then we also have, many times if you've done it as a condo, and this is not all the time, but sometimes you have like your HOA, which is your homeowner association fees. So now it costs you $1,200 a month to have this rental property, and the rent you bring in is $1,500. So you're taking home, it's still good. You're taking home $300 a month from your rental property investment, right? And guys, if you're wondering like, well, Teri, where are you getting these numbers? I'm just estimating, but I am a real estate broker, and I've been doing that for a long time too. So like, these are some generally decent numbers for what you could make on a real estate rental property. And I will tell you the truth. Like, I have some properties that don't make this. I break even every month. So then you have down payment. So you make $300 a month, and you're so excited because you're bringing in extra passive income, right? Ah, good job. Rachel did the scavenger hunt. Thanks, Rachel. So excited. I actually have a present for you at the end. Okay, and then so now this down payment. So to get your $300 a month, what did you have to put up front for this real estate investment? Well, let's just assume the house was $100,000 and you put 20% down for down payment. Yes, there are totally other options, but this is just an example. Run with me, run with me. So the down payment, $20,000, your repairs are $10,000. So now your total upfront money that you need for this rental property is $30,000. Okay, y'all still with me? Y'all flowing? You get it? So you needed $30,000 to invest in this house. and you're making $300 a month in return. How long is it going to take you before you break even on that real estate investment? It takes 100 months. 100 months equals 8 years. I feel like, see, when I bought my rental property, because everybody used to say, invest, invest, invest. So I bought a property, I got out of college, I bought a property, and then I invested, but nobody tells you like all this back end, like, when am I going to get my money back? I've been in this rental property for 10 years, but I still haven't got back the money I put in to rehab it and buy it. So like, just know, like, if you do a real estate property, yes, you'll make passive income, $300 a month, but it'll take you some time to pay back what you put into it. So the question is, well, what else could you have done with that $30,000 instead of investing it into a rental property? And that's where investing in the stock market comes in. So I told you guys my story. I decided I'm going to take that $35,000 because that's how much I actually needed. I'm going to take that $35,000 and I'm going to put it into the stock market. Now, here's what I can do with about $35,000. So I did those challenges and we just looked them up on Instagram. And thank you, Sid. I see that you also did the challenge, so you get a reward too. But so the first time I did a 5-day challenge of $1,000 a day, this is what I made. So Monday, I made $3,700 in a day. Tuesday, $1,500 in a day. Wednesday, $3,800 in a day. Thursday, $1,100. Friday, $4,400. So that's $4,419 in one day. That's actually more than I would have been making in a whole month as an assistant principal. And so that whole week, I ended up making $14,634 in a week of trading. Now, guys, do you see how making this in a day could really impact your life versus making $300 in a month? So there's a difference, right? When you're looking at investing versus looking at you're looking at investing in the stock market versus investing in a house. And so that next week I did it again, but this time I did it at a conference. So I didn't have as much time. And of course, y'all, that first week, I'm like, this was the first time I was putting this on Instagram. I didn't want to be like the one that says, oh, I can make this and then it fail. So I was looking at the market all the time for this 5-day challenge. The next week, I didn't have time like that. So we were in a conference and there was no internet. There was no, we didn't have resources. The conference was amazing though. Like, we were talking about like how to become better financial teachers for the world. So it's a great conference, but there was like no Wi-Fi and I was busy. But I decided to keep doing the challenge anyway. And that week, you can see here, I still made my goal. And this is some points I want to point out here. So like, you guys can read. I don't have to say each of the amounts. But look, on Wednesday, I didn't trade at all. And when you're trying to make a challenge, like make a goal, so sometimes you feel like, well, Teri, if I'm trying to make $100 a day, do I have to trade every day? No. Sometimes you'll actually beat your goal. So like this day, I was trying to make $1,000 a day, but on Friday, I made $5,000. So I actually had a loss on Thursday. By the way, that was a planned loss. Whenever you're going to lose sometime in trading, you're not always going to make money, but just make sure that when you do have losses, you cut them short. And we'll talk about risk management a little bit later too in the secrets, when we talk about the 4 secrets. But it's about how you lose when you lose in trading. And you don't have to trade every day. So I'm going to keep going because I don't want to be on this too long. But I kept going even the next week too. And I was still able to meet my goal. And I took 2 vacation days. And this actually was like a huge thing for me. I didn't like people telling me when I could take vacation. So now I was able to take vacation when I want to. And then when I do trade, I could still make my goal. And for those who are wondering, this actually was all in my real account. Some people are like, Teri, did you really trade that? No, like really, like I took pictures every day. Like this was in my real account. Don't come after me though. But yeah, like this is real money. And I continued and I showed you guys that day in December. We'll move forward from this one. Those numbers actually aren't updated anyway. But the point is, investing in the stock market can bring you wealth. And I hope after showing you guys those numbers, you understand that, yeah, like maybe I should be thinking about this a little different. The stock market can actually bring people wealth, and not just like, the old guys that are in big mansions somewhere, but people like me who used to be an assistant principal of an elementary school. Like, it can really help us. And I know that there's some people that have seen those numbers and you've pulled away already. But guys, this session is for you. So come back in, don't leave. Like, this session is for you. And I'm not even going to go over the people that it's not for. This is for you if you take initiative, if you like to learn new things, if you have pride in your work, which I feel like everybody on this call is, or when you like to see things done efficiently. When you go to the airport and there's a long line and you're thinking through, you know what, they could be doing this and that, then you know how you'd be good at investing too. And if you can follow instructions, because guys, I give you the instructions. So my students will tell you in our course, we go step by step on what you do here, here, and here. And if you can follow the system, then you can actually make money. And this is actually the process that I take. And we're going to go through some secrets in each one of these buckets. But let me just do a quick overview so you know where we're going. So the first thing that is important when when starting to invest is picking good companies. And we're going to talk a little bit more in depth on each one of these things. But guys, like, the easiest way to kill your account is to try to do penny stocks and pick bad companies. And I'll go more in depth on that. But if you really want to be successful in this thing of investing in the stock market, you got to know how to pick the right companies. Then the next thing is you need to know how to protect yourself on the downside. So again, like I said, we're going to go more deeper into all these places, but just a quick headliner. Like, if you have these small wins, oh man, I made $100. Thanks, Brian. I see you did the game too. But if you have these small wins, like say you're making $200 and you're doing your $200 a day, which actually, by the way, $200 a day is $1,000 a week, $4,000 a month. $200 a day is nothing to sleep on. But if you're making $200 a day, but then you have these big losses of $1,000, $2,000, how will your account grow? So a big part of my strategy is how do we protect your portfolio and protect your risk so that you can see your account grow. The next piece is pricing the trade. So even if you have the right company, but you get in at the wrong price, then it won't work out. So that's a big part. And then the last thing is pushing forward. So let's go into the secrets. Tell me if you're still with me. Are you guys still with me? I'm that person. David says, yep, I'm that person. Y'all still with me? Y'all ready for the secrets? If you are, say yes, put it in the chat box, and we will get on to the secrets. I'm going to wait. Y'all know I'm a teacher. Okay, good. Lori says yes. Rachel says yes. Elwood did the challenge. Thank you. Thank you. Jaylene says yes. Kendra, Rhonda said yes. Perfect. Scavenger hunt, yes. Perfect. All right, so here we go. So now I told you we're going to go into secrets on each one of these. Be ready to take some notes. Yes, this is recorded, so you will get a recording. You don't have to worry. But we're going to go into each one of these secrets, and let me tell you up front how it's structured. So I'm going to give you a fear, and we're going to talk through some of the fears that have been with investing, because if I don't address your mindset, then you won't be able to really internalize the secret that I give you. So we're going to talk about a fear, then we'll talk about the solution. We'll talk about like the secret, and then we'll talk about the solution. That's how each of these is going to go. And there's 4 of them. And y'all, like, I want you to learn. So just know I'm going to be throwing as much information as I can at you. And I hope that you're excited in learning some of this stuff. Courtney says, yeah, let's go. All right, good. So fear number 1. So the first fear that I hear a lot from new investors is, well, you need a lot of money to invest. And how many of you guys have heard that? And you've heard this myth or felt like you didn't have enough money to invest. Like, that's why you didn't do it. And I'll tell you the truth. And someone says, Kate says yes. And then myth. So because of that fear that you need a lot of money to invest, I think there's this myth perpetuated that you should invest in penny stocks. So like, for whatever reason, every chat box that I go into, every WhatsApp group, there's like somebody in there with this like $1 stock and this $1 cannabis stock and this one. No, that's a myth. It's a myth that you should invest in penny stocks. The right way and the true way to actually make money in the stock market is to invest in value companies that are best in breed. So what you're going to be doing is you want to invest in the value company that's best in breed, but on a bad day. So for example, Boeing is a great company. They have like future revenue like for years out, but they had a bad day. They had some crashes. This would be, again, disclaimer, don't forget the disclaimer. I am not recommending stocks. I'm just telling you what I do. But we're going to be looking for really good companies on a discounted, on a down day. And let me actually tell you, and don't forget, I'm going to tell you a secret to make this work and how you can actually have the money to invest. But first, let me tell you how to find best in breed. So one app that you can download is called the CNBC app. You can download it on your phone. So it's the financial part of the NBC network. And they also have a TV station. And the TV station will tell you all day what's going on with different companies. What's going on with the Lyft IPO? What's going on with the Pinterest IPO? What's going on with that random CEO that got fired? I don't know. But the CNBC has money stuff all the time. But what I want you to do, because we're trying to find best in breed companies, I want you to create a watch list. You can do this all for free. Download CNBC app and you're going to create a watch list. So these are some of the things that I follow. If you're part of my class, one of the things you get is my watch list. But what I want you to do, I have it, I agree, good. What I want you to do though, is I want you to put, if you have like one stock that you're thinking about, I want you to put that stock and then two of its competitors in the watch list. So like, for example, if you like Southwest Airlines, then I want you to put Southwest, Delta, and American Airlines. So you're going to put three companies in the same sector in your watch list. And then I want you to watch how all three of them trade. A lot of times, if they're in the same segment, they'll go up and down together. But I want you to see which one of them moves up the most, which one moves down the most. When there's bad news, which one actually moves down the least. So you're going to be watching to see how these companies trade. You're also going to see like what news they have. So as you open up this app, it actually tells you several like really great like things. And I can teach you, like I said, my course. If you want more about this, I have it all there. But when you go into this app, it'll give you information of like how much the stock moves in a day. You'll be able to look at their chart, which I'm a technical analysis trader. So I'm looking at charts all the time. It'll also tell you news. So it'll tell you on all those companies what news is coming up. So I want you to just get familiar with the companies, and then as they trade, you'll be able to see which one do you actually feel like is the better stock to invest in that segment. And you'll be able to figure out best in breed. If you're struggling, one more tip on just best in breed. If you're struggling with how to figure out their competitors, if you go to Yahoo Finance, usually when you pull up a company, on the right-hand sidebar, it'll also give you other people that have looked at this stock, look at these other stocks. So it'll give you some examples for competitors there as well. But I really do think like you're looking for best in breed, and that's a way that you can kind of see which one in that category is best in breed. Now, so that was just info. Perfect. I'm watching a few of these right now. Nice. Good job, Courtney. All right. So one thing I will say, so that was just extra info. But the secret, the real secret here is so remember the thing was, Teri, how do I have enough money? One thing you can do is open a margin brokerage account. Okay, now what is a margin brokerage account, Teri? So do you know how when you go to the bank and you open a savings account, you can also you can open a checking account or a savings account. Like they're two different accounts, but you do them at the same bank. Well, you actually can do the same thing with brokerage accounts. And this is like how a brokerage account is like how you would trade stocks. You do it still at the bank, but when they ask you what kind of account you want to open, instead of saying just a regular brokerage account, there'll be a checkbox that can say margin brokerage account. I want you guys to check margin. And here's why. Because if you trade with margin, the bank actually lets you trade with their money. And you can trade with 2 to 4 times the amount of cash in your account using a margin account. So for example, if I have $25,000, then I actually get to trade on a day. This is a day trading. I actually get to trade with $100,000. Or like some of my students, if they have $5,000, they actually get to trade with $20,000. And it depends what brokerage you go to on how much margin they give. So for example, at Merrill Edge or Merrill Lynch, they do like 2 times your cash amount. At TradeStation, who I trade with, they do 4 times your cash amount. But the key is you need a margin brokerage account. So does this make sense? Like, we're going to do a quick check for understanding. So do you understand how using a margin account will actually help you to afford value companies? And that can give you a better return than penny stocks. Does that make sense? Put into the chat box if it makes sense. You guys can also ask questions there. I'll come back to them after, but let me know, does that make sense? And then we'll go on to our, yes, okay, good. And then we'll go on to our next secret. Yes. Okay, good. Corey says yes. Janae says yes. Rhoda, Rochelle, Mikhail, Dennis, is it a loan? David, great question. So we can talk more about margin accounts, but there is an interest rate while you're using the bank's money. But usually you're only using it for like a day or 2 at a time, so you don't really feel that interest rate. But yes, it's a loan, just like you would be like buying a house. And you know how you put the down payment and then the bank puts up the rest of the money? So it's kind of the similar here. You're putting in your cash and then the bank puts in the rest of the money into your account. Cool. Angela, we can go into more depth with risk with margin. Remember that question and ask it again in the end of the presentation. Okay, cool. Let's keep going. All right, secret number 2. And thank you guys so much for being here. I'm so excited. All right, so how do you protect your portfolio? So one of the biggest fears that I hear is that the stock market is too risky. And have you guys ever felt like that? You felt like, well, the reason why I don't invest is because it's too risky. And then the myth that's perpetuated, like you always have that random person in your family that's like, well, investing in the stock market is a gamble. Like literally, guys, like every time I tell somebody, not every time, some people are savvy, but a lot of times when I tell people that I'm a trader, especially if I say I'm a day trader or a swing trader, they'll be like, oh, so you're gambling? No, I'm not gambling. Here's the truth. The truth is that investing is a calculated risk. And it's, to me, I do the analogy of like Steph Curry shooting a free throw shot. So yes, Kendra says, yes, that's what keeps me in investing. Dominic's absolutely great. Okay, good. So the truth is investing is a calculated risk. And so I want you just to imagine shooting a free throw shot is like, it's not guaranteed. Yes, there's a possibility that you'll make it, possibility that you won't. But when you put Steph Curry on the line, he has an 80% free throw percentage. So him being at the free throw line, you can not bet, but there's a much higher probability that he will make the shot. And we can do the same thing in trading. So we can actually, good. David said, so is real estate. True. Oh, and I've skipped a slide. I got too excited. But yeah, so if you plan ahead on where you're going to enter and exit the trade, you can actually calculate in advance the probability of your trade. And so this is something that I teach my students how to do. So when you're entering the stock, say we're here, you enter here, we actually can look at charts to see where we would exit the trade. So up front, we would know getting into this stock, this is what our expected return will be. And then on the downside, we can do the same thing. Looking at the chart, I can see if this trade goes against me, where will it stop? And I can actually put in an order to get me out of the trade if it goes down, which tells me what my risk is. So guys, if I'm going into the trade knowing my reward and knowing my risk, can't I do an equation that will give me the probability of this trade? And the answer is yes. Like, we do this all the time. So we take trades that are only like 70% or more with 70% or more probability of success. So we can take high probability trades and we can calculate that in advance. The secret to this is using an order type called a stop loss. And so, like, this is an analogy for a stop loss. You guys can tell I like pictures and images. I feel like that just helps people to understand better. So this is me on a zip line in Puerto Rico. And this is before the hurricane, but they had this like beautiful mountainside and all these trees, and they have these zip lines through the trees. So like, I'm on this zip line, I'm zooming down like super fast, and all of a sudden, right before the platform, we hit this thing right here. I don't even know what it's called, but the buoy, I guess. I don't know what it's called, but we hit it, and like all of a sudden your momentum stops. That's the same thing that happens with a stop loss order in investing. So if your stock is just falling like a rock, this order will get you out of the trade. And this is another picture of me in Puerto Rico, that same one. But like, can you imagine how like beneficial an order type like this is? So just think about last quarter when the market just kept falling, or think about even the last couple of days when the market was going down. Like, if you had an order type that could get you out of the trade, then you wouldn't have to worry about the risk anymore, because you'd know exactly how much money you're standing to lose on this trade. And you can calculate your stop loss in different ways. Like, I have ways that I teach my students to like know where to put their stop loss. But like, say you decided, well, I don't want to lose more than $100 on any trade. You can place a stop loss there so that no matter what, you don't lose $100 on any trade, or more than $100 on any trade. Like, you can actually do that in investing. And do you guys see how, if you're able to do that, how now it's not so much a gamble, because you know exactly how much risk you have on every trade. And so when I taught, and guys, please keep putting questions up there. I'll come back at the end to the questions. But if you like, here's a testimony from one of my students doing this. So this is my student Raymond. He's actually he's like my first student. I was so excited. Man, it's been a little while now, but with Raymond, I taught him how to put in these stop losses and there's actually like 5 different things I teach people on how to protect their risk. So I taught him how to do that, and like, look at what he said here. Oh, he said, Teri, just wanted to share how your class affected my week. Avoided those 5 mistakes, and not being greedy paid off. I'm ready for next week to see if I can stay consistent. Thanks again. And you guys see how his chart starts changing, and now all of a sudden he's starting to make money. Like, I absolutely love when my students send me things like this. Like, it just makes me excited. So check for understanding. Putting in a stop loss. Do you guys see how putting in a stop loss to set your risk and calculating high probability trades can actually lead to having less risk and having higher probability trades? Let me restate that. I feel like I didn't say that well, but do you guys see how putting in stop losses can help you calculate higher probability trades so that it's not as risky to invest in the stock market? Let me know. Did it make sense? Did you get it? And then let's keep going, because I see we're already at 40 minutes. Let's go. Okay, so now let's keep going. So now let's do the secret. Yes, I do, Jessica. And we're actually going to talk about that right now. Jessica asked, do I teach people how to read charts? And the answer is yes. And we're actually going to talk about that right now. And I'm glad. Thank you guys for telling me that it does make sense. All right, so pricing the trade. So one of the other things that I hear a lot is that it takes time to trade. And there's this myth that you have to do all this research in order to understand your stocks, and it takes you hours. And people, no, that is not true. Have you guys ever heard that? But it's not true. The truth is that you can reduce the time that you spend by learning how to read charts. So here, like, this is one of my favorite stocks to trade. It's called AutoZone. And this is like one of their charts. And you can see back when I was doing this presentation, it was at $608. Now, guys, it's at $1,044. Like, and that's only been in the last 4 months. So like these stocks move quickly and you can make quite a bit of money on them. But this is what a candlestick chart looks like. And this is what I use to read charts. When you have a chart, I can actually look at this and in less than a minute tell you where I would get in and out of the trade. I look at charts and I can go through stocks like this and tell you the pricing. And the secret is, like, there's two secrets. One, you have to learn how to read charts. And then two, learn to limit your watch list. Some of you guys have probably been looking at, and I won't even say you all, I'll just use examples. Like I have one student, great student. She made a ton of money, but then she had lost some money. And when I asked her, and she had come to me for help, like, Teri, I'm starting to lose money. Please help me figure out what I'm doing wrong. And when I asked to see like the company she was watching over 65 companies. And guys, you can't successfully watch 65 companies and know how to get in and out of them. So I told her, let's start narrowing this list down to 20 to 30 companies. That's how many you can successfully watch and get to know on a like an intimate basis. So the secret is learn how to read the charts and get familiar with a smaller set of companies. And here's the thing, you can make $1,000 a day trading one company. So I have one student, actually I have several students now, but I have one student who, I don't want to say the stock because y'all gonna be like, Teri told me to invest in this stock. I told you, okay, like I told y'all the disclaimer. So I'm gonna say the stock, but just remember the disclaimer. So I have one student, he invests in Sprint every day. And we work together to make sure that he would be good at investing in Sprint. And do y'all know he can make $1,000 a day just investing in Sprint? I have some other students that just invest in Amazon. And we know how to read their charts. We're familiar with their charts. And they make good money. But you only need one. You need to know how to read the charts of one stock. And you can get in and out of that stock and make some money. So, two, I think somebody put on there, like, risky with penny stocks. Yes, because the thing is, penny stocks don't have good data. So it's really hard to read the chart of a penny stock because they're like, it doesn't have like a rhyme or reason. So you need a stock that has been around for a little while, that you can actually see their data and like how their stock price has been moving so that you can read their chart. One other thing I'll throw out here, and then I'll keep moving forward. That's also the reason why I personally don't invest in IPOs, because we don't have enough data in the chart to see what price they really should be trading at. We need a month to 3 months or sometimes even more to see what the stock price, how the stock price is really acting and where it's going before we get into that trade. That's why I recommended my students not get into the Lyft IPO. And it's in story, so I think it went away from Instagram. But I did like a whole Instagram live on IPOs. But it's better when you can actually track the data, see on the chart where the price should actually be. And thank you guys. I see your questions. Keep them coming. With the time though, let me tell you, remember I told you I did FinCon and I didn't have a lot of time, but I still made $6,000 that week. So I'm going to show you what that actually really looked like in terms of time. So that week, they got that new app now on Apple on the iPhone, and it tells you how much time you spent. So that week, this is how much screen time I had spent. And then it tells you how much you spent in each app. So TradeStation like I usually trade on my phone. I use the TradeStation app. So like that's the app that tells you how long I've been trading. So that week in total, I only traded 4 hours, 59 minutes to make over $6,000, right? And then let me break it down for you. We're actually going to look at each day. So that first day, I believe I made like $1,500 that day. I only traded 48 minutes. How? I know how to read charts. Next day, I think this day, and I might be getting my numbers off, but I think this day was like $1,100. I traded an hour and a half. If anybody tells me another job where I can make $1,000 an hour, then our hour and a half, I'll be totally great with that. And then in Friday, that's the day I made over $5,000. And I only traded an hour and a half that day too. So the key is for all those people who've been saying it takes a ton of time, like let's do a quick check for understanding. Do you guys see though how if you have a small number of positions and you actually get familiar with their charts, it can actually lead you to taking less time to make money in the stock market? Does that make sense? Like, have I been clear? And Francis, I see your question. Great. Do you ever do a classroom? Kendra, great. Let's add. Okay, I'll answer that too. But does that make sense? We're going into our last secret, but I just want to make sure that I'm being clear, that you guys are understanding this. Okay, good. Janae says yes. Francis says yes. Kelly, perfect. Wonderful. All right, guys. So now this is the last secret. And I'm telling you guys, like for all of your, like my hope today is that you're seeing all these myths that you've heard and that have been perpetuated, and you're just seeing me like break them down, because it's so not true. Like, you guys can do this. You can make money from the stock market. Like, you can change your life with investing. But hopefully, like, first you got to change your mindset. So hopefully we're doing that here. Owen says yes. Brian says yes. Lori says yes. Oh, thank you. You're excellent. Oh, thank you, Lori. All right, guys. So now this is fear number 4. So fear number 4 is the one that I hear most often. And it's this one that says you can't time the market. And how many of you guys have heard that? And because they say you can't time the market, because they're afraid of that, then this myth is perpetuated that just says buy and hold. Just hold it and it will grow over time. How many of you guys have heard that? That buy and hold is better than swing trading? Let me see some yeses. I'd like to see if y'all are still with me there. But how many people have ever heard that buy and hold is better than swing trading? Yes. Francis says yes. Okay. Good. Rachel says yes. Janae says yes. Whitney says, what are IPOs? And then Whitney, I need you to join my course so we can talk about what's an IPO. Naomi says yes. Okay, good. So a lot of you guys in here have heard that you should just buy and hold and that that's better than swing trading. Well, here's the truth. Investing, and I'll just say investing is a great way to build wealth, and you just have to figure out what works best for you. If you're an active investor, it's because you can actively invest for income. If you're a long-term passive investor, it's because you don't need to touch the money for a long time. But they're not better than one another. They're just different, and they have different purposes. So just like this chart here where it says success isn't a straight line to the top, these stocks, they're going to go up and down. And you can actually make money on them as they go up and down. Hence the escalator. I thought I was being clever with this picture, but I just wanted you guys to know that you could like ride it up and you could ride it down. But the truth is, like, it's not that you can make more or less. It's that if for me, I needed to be able to quit my job. So I needed money that I could use for bills. I needed $300 a day. An active investor does it for income. And if you do it, like, let's just think about this in terms of numbers. If you just started with a goal of $200 a day, that's an extra, like I said, we trade 5 days a week. So that's $1,000 a week, $4,000 a month. That's an extra $48,000 a year just by making $200 a day in trading. How much different could your life be if you were able to make an extra $48,000 a year and not have to actually do like manual labor? I'm just saying. And like the secret is, and I'm going to first, before I tell the secret on this one, I want to just bring I like the parallels and the images, but it's just the same. Carolyn says, I need to quit. I got you, girl. Let's do this. But it's just the same as if you were like investing in homes. So there's going to be somebody who wants to just buy the home and hold it for a long time, and then they'll sell it and it'll appreciate. But then you have the HGTV people that are flipping houses, right? So it's not that one is better than the other. It's just a different form of investing. The one that's flipping the house, he's going to actually make money on a quicker basis. They're going to put in, we need to get this done in 60 days. At the end, we're going to sell it. We're going to make our money. So they just get to see the income quicker. That's the same thing with investing. And I want to show you guys like a real life example. So this is Facebook's chart from last year. So when it opened up, it opened at 175. And if you were to hold it to the end of the year, so just by October, it was at 162. So if you did a buy and hold strategy with Facebook last year, then by October, you were down. And by December, it was at like 129. So you had lost about $50. I'm rounding, but you had lost about $50 a share on Facebook if you were buy and holding. But did Facebook just go straight down? No. From the beginning of the year, it went up to 195. Had you like sold it here and got $20 per share, you could have made some money. Then you could have let it ride back down and got back into it here at 150. And then look at it, from 150, it rose to 220. That's like $70 worth of profit in a short amount of time right here. You could have sold up here in the 200s, made that money, watched it go down. And if you know how to short, which we talk about in our advanced class in my course, you could actually make money on the way down too. So you would have been making money on the way up, money on the way down. And by the end of the year, you would have had a profit instead of just buy and hold and having it go down. Does that make sense? So you can actually, by being an active trader, you can make money. And I want to give you a couple more examples on this one. The key is that once you find those good companies, it's not that you're going to just, keep finding new companies. You can find those good companies and then learn how to trade in and out of those positions. So technically, you could say that you're a long-term trader because you'll be trading those stocks over time and getting really familiar with them, but you'll be making more active income because you're trading in and out of them. So here's an example that I'll give you guys. And usually I tell people about this one, but I want to push forward so we have time for questions. But like AutoZone, I got into this trade for my uncle when it fell down here to 500. So we rode it to 800. I sold it for him. We let it go down. And I think I actually might have shorted and got some money here. We got back in here, and I told y'all now it's at 1,000. So like we've been able to make money getting in and out of this stock versus just buying and holding. Here's another example. So I've been in AMD for a long time. You can see here last year it was actually at $10 a share, and I was making some money in it. I had like 5,000 shares at $10 a share. Later on in the year, it was up to $35 a share. And I had been teaching my students about how to trade. And I asked them, well, how did you guys do in AMD? And so you see here, Cynthia's like, oh, I've made 50% on my AMD options that expired. This is by September. I made 50%. And look at where the price is. Raymond's like, oh, I did good today. I put in a stop loss that sold at $32. Chelsea says, I did good. I put in I got in the first hour at $31. So see, guys, I've been trading it for a long time. I've been trading it since it was $10, but now my students are still trading it and they're making money even up here in the 30s. And we're just trading in and out of these quality stocks, that we know are going to make some profit. So check for understanding on this one. So does this make sense how trading in and out of a position can help you make consistent income, which actually can lead to better returns than just a buy and hold strategy? Does that make sense? Audra says, nice, love it, Whitney. All right. So those were the 4 secrets, and those were, debunking all those myths. So now the question is, did you learn? Did you learn today? So the 4 secrets on how to make $1,000 a day, which are the same 4 secrets that I've shared with you guys on how to get started, is open a margin account, calculate reward to risk, read charts, and then trade in and out of a stock. That's how you actually can. And you guys, when I say get started, like I'm telling you guys from my experience. So this is how I would get started. And so here's the kicker. Now, what if you could set up your own account? So y'all, I don't do this just because like just because. I do it because I really want you guys to take some action. I don't want you to hear this information and then just sit on it and be like, oh, that was good. No, I want you to start trading. I really do think that this can help build your wealth. So what if you go and set up your account? What if you started picking good companies and setting up stop losses and reading charts and running shorts and make money in the market? What if? You should do it. You can do it. And we just talked about, like, if you start doing it, you can make $200 a day, and that can change your life, because that's an extra $1,000 a week, an extra $4,000 a month. That's $48,000 extra a year just for making $200 a day. So, are you guys gonna do it? You ready? Yes? Okay. Anybody in here like, Teri, I want to do it, but can you help me? Anybody want my help doing this? Jessica says, how much money to start? Pearl says, where do you open margin accounts? Okay, yes, we will talk about all those things. And then Corey says, yes. Rachel says, me. Okay, perfect. So these are some people. Janae says, yes. Mikhail says, me. Heck. Love it. Please and thank you. Okay, good. So you guys do want to know how I can help. Tony says, absolutely. Angela says, yes. Naomi says, me. Okay, great. All right, here you go. So let me show you what I do have to help people. Because I think this is like revolutionary. Like when I realized how big this could really help my life, it was a game changer. Like literally I was able to quit my job and start traveling around the world. So it changed my life for real. So this is what I put together. So I put together a school called Invest with Teri, and I also put together a method. I tried to nail down, well, Teri, what do you do to make it successful for you? Because a lot of traders are not successful. So what are you doing that's special? And I realized that I actually have a 7-step trading plan that I do with each trade that gives me this edge. And I've put it together into a course, an online course. And the course is for everybody. Like, I don't even have to read through this slide, but it's for beginners that are just starting. It's for current traders that want something different. Like, it's for everybody. And this is how it's structured. So we have an online course, and I'll talk to you in a second about what the courses are. But then also I have coaching calls. So like we're about to start next week. We're starting with our spring cohort, and I have weekly coaching calls for that cohort while they're going through the material. So that way they can come, they can see a live class with me. It looks very similar to what we're doing here on our webinar. I cover some content, and then I open it up for them to ask questions. And then we have a community. Y'all, our Facebook group, our Facebook community is amazing. Like, I didn't realize what I was doing when I put the community together, but now I have over 100 traders that I've trained with my strategy, all looking for stocks the way that I do. So now there's all these ideas on good stocks to actually trade because all of our traders are doing this together. So like, that's just like, that's the treasure chest that like, I probably don't even realize how valuable that really is, but everybody in the course gets access to that community. And then do you guys want to see what's inside? So of course, I go through the same things that we talked about today is actually how I structured the course, but they're full-on courses. So there's intro to the stock market, risk management, how to read charts, advanced strategies. And then here's like the whole list of courses, even through advanced. So these are the ones in the trade and travel course, which is like for the intro. And then once you're more advanced traders, then this is the portion for the advanced traders. So it goes through also shorting. So that's how do you make money when the stock market goes down? We're about to hit all-time highs in the S&P, which means that most likely we have some sellers that are about to start pushing the market down. You need to be ready to know how to make money when that happens. So that's short selling. Then we talk about gap trading, external hours trading. So these are all more advanced things that you can do with charts, and they give you a serious edge. And then this last piece is options trading. So I think I saw someone ask me in there, do you trade options? Yes, I actually trade stocks and options, and I have a class now in the advanced section that talks about options. So if you want to learn options, I'd say sign up for the advanced course. The community, I told you guys about that already, is the Facebook group, which is amazing. And then the group coaching calls, they're going to start next week. So I really highly suggest, if you're interested, get in now, and then you can be ready for our calls that start on Monday. And you can, like I said, you can watch the online curriculum at your own pace and your own time, but the group coaching calls will help, keep you on track and push you forward. And you'll have like a live touch point with me. So you won't be doing it all by yourself. And if you feel like, Teri, that's great, but I need some personal coaching, the advanced class has personal coaching. So that's the group that has my phone number. They can call whenever they want to, and we can set like an online, not an online, but we can set up a one-on-one call. That's the advanced class. Who is this created for? Everybody. If you have some money in your savings account that you've been wanting to make work, if you've been wanting to quit your job, like I saw some of you guys wanted to do, if you just want to have like another option, you're already investing in real estate and now you want to invest in a different way so you can have some multiple streams of income, diversify a little bit. Like, this course is for everyone. And then how much does it cost? So if you were to go and get this at an MBA, like there are only a few ways for you to learn how to trade. One way is to get your MBA. And so that's $80,000 a year, or $80,000 for the 2 years. Or you can go to a trade school, which a lot of me and several other people that that are now students of mine, we went to some trade schools and we had to pay $30,000, but that's like per class. So it actually ended up being really, really expensive. And a lot of them came out not really understanding or knowing anything. And some of you guys, and I've heard stories, y'all have taken other courses before and it didn't work. And you paid all this money and you still came out not knowing how to trade. Like, that's what I want to come against. Like, I don't want you to lose hope because the last class wasn't good. I want you to just get a good teacher that can teach you how to do it the right way. But trading schools usually are really expensive. And if any of you guys have been to one of those, like, oh, come to this one-day seminar from a real estate seminar, those classes are expensive too. I don't know what it is, but investing courses are really expensive. But I think it's because the potential that you can make. So if you can make $48,000 after I teach you this information, the information is super valuable. And to tell you the truth, I've been working with some consultants and they did some analysis on the value of my course. With the content that I teach, the hours of coaching that I do, and the community, my course is actually worth $20,000. So I'm in the same running as these other advanced trading schools. And my curriculum is more personal, has a more personal touch. But don't worry, don't run away now. I want you guys to learn this information. So I'm actually giving it to you today for 75% off. So the value of our advanced class, that means all of the stuff that I teach, is only $5,000. Well, the value is $20,000, but I'm giving it to you for 75% off. So you can get all of that with my phone number and the personal coaching calls and the group coaching calls and all the content for $5,000. And then to make sure that there's no excuses, I've gone through each one of those fears and added a bonus in there that you can get for free. So on that fear of not having enough money, I'm going to introduce you to a financial advisor. And I've actually had to search for some better financial advisors. I had one and she didn't work out. So you guys now actually might get some financial advising from Charles Schwab. They've come and they've said, you know what, we have some wealth management things that we can offer to help your group plan for retirement and things like that. So I'll introduce you to some financial advisors that can help you understand your financial journey. Then in fear number 2, too much risk, I'm going to give you a simulator. So all of my students actually start trading on a simulator with fake money. That way they don't have to worry about oh, Teri, do I need to come to the class and then have some more money to invest? I know that's going to be a question that comes up. Well, how much do I need to get started? My answer is I actually have a formula for that. But when you first start and you're learning, I think you should trade in a simulator. I don't want you to trade with your real money until you've seen consistent gains in a simulated fake account with paper money. I want to see that consistently doing well before I see you trading with your real money. Okay. And so I'll give you that as part of our teaching. Then the last piece with this no excuses is my watch list. So I've actually built into the course, well, you'll see the 30 stocks that I trade, and you can just pick and choose off that list as we go through the course, or find your own. I'm going to teach you how to pick good companies, so you can find your own. But I'm going to give you my watch list so you know that you start off from a good standing. So all of this stuff, $20,000 for the trade and travel, the financial advisor, the simulated, the watch list, it's all worth $21,544, and you're getting it today for $5,000. And that's not it. I forgot this slide was even in there. I'm like, I don't know if I want to give this, but since it's here, I'll give it. One other thing is, if you do buy it today, you get a session with me. So you actually get a live session with me, and we can just talk through any questions you have. You can ask me anything. I actually do love these sessions, and we talk through a number of things, just like an overview of the course, past trading. Just we can discuss your past trading. We can discuss strategies, just all that kind of stuff. So it's really awesome. It's $250 in value. So you really get, oh my gosh, I'm giving all this stuff out. Like I forgot how much I was giving out for free. Y'all are blessed and highly favored. But the total value is $21,794 worth of value that you're getting today. Oh, and that's actually not right. It's $21,000 that you're getting today for just $5,000. And if you're like, Teri, I really want to be part of it, but I don't have $5,000, don't worry. You can actually start for just $19.97. And that's the trade and travel course. So you guys remember how I broke it up? I have the advanced class, and then there's the intro trading travel course. The trade and travel course is just $1,997. So you can start there, get all of that good stuff on how to get started, risk management, technical analysis, and the advanced strategies. You can do all of that for just the $19.97, and then later up it to the advanced and get the short selling and everything else. Does that make sense? So at $19.97, you guys are actually getting my $20,000 course at 90% off. Okay, but that's just for you today, because y'all don't know, I'll be thinking about upping my prices. But it also has a 30-day guarantee. So if you do all the lessons, so if you join the course, yes, there is a payment plan, Carolyn, yes. If you do all the courses, watch all the lessons, participate in the Q&A, complete all the action steps, and you place a trade and you're not making money, then you can submit your work to me, and we can help you. First of all, I'm going to do everything I can to help you become a better trader. And one of the things with trading is sometimes you're going to lose money just because, one, it's the stock market. And you might lose money too because you didn't follow the steps. So I want to make sure that you're like really learning. But if all of that happens and it doesn't work, then we can do a refund. Yeah. But I think like you're going to like the class. All right now. So this is how you do it. And I'm giving you guys one more discount. So this is actually here. I'm going to put this offer up. So this is just for you guys on this webinar. And like it literally expires in 30 minutes. Let me put this offer thing up. I just learned how to do it. So I'm going to put this up right now. And it is a fast action bonus. It lasts 30 minutes. So while we're on this call and we're about to answer questions, I'm actually going to give you, on top of everything that I just said, I'm going to give you an extra 10% off. So if you go to this link right here in the webinar, or if you go to investorsavvy.org in the next 30 minutes, by the time the session ends, then you can get this plus an extra 10% off. So now it's even less than the $19.97. And I did it, usually I don't do it on the payment plan, but it even works on the payment plan just right now while we're on this call. So you can also get 10% off the payment plan. Do know that the payment plan is going to be a little bit more expensive than paying in full. So you get a better deal for your money if you pay in full. But if you want to start, I believe the payment plan is like 3 payments of $773. So like that's really great. Like you start for really low today. And yeah, it's going to be awesome. And you'll start with us on our Monday calls. Like, you'll just be right there with us. So go ahead. If some of you guys are like, I want to do this now, get this discount so that you can save some money. Alrighty. And go back to the presentation. So now after today, when that 10% goes off, then the website is investwithteri.com to buy, and it'll be at full price. But if you guys want that extra discount, make sure that you click on this now, enroll here, and we can actually get that extra 10% off for you. All right. So you guys have immediate access. Let's answer some questions. I'm so excited. This is the last slide. So yep, it's a little as $19.97 or a payment plan of $773. But if you do this fast action bonus and get it now while we're about to do Q&A, then you actually can get an extra 10% off of even that. All right. Well, here, I'm going to put my video up, and you guys can keep doing the offer. It should be on the side right there. You can keep enrolling. But what questions do you have? And I will look at the chat box. Okay, great. So Brian says, how long is the course? Brian, the course, I would say you can learn everything within 60 days. There are 4 classes, like 4 courses. Oh, actually, I can actually show you this. But there's 4 courses, and they each have like 4 to 5 modules in them. And so I would say it'd be good to spend about 2 weeks per class. This is just for the trade and travel. I would say it's good to spend about 2 weeks per class, like watching the modules, practicing the content. So that means that you'll be able to trade within 8 weeks. But I will say one of your assignments after the very first class is to make some trades and to send me those 5 trades. So you'll be trading after the first 2 weeks. But it'll take you probably about 8 weeks, like 60 days, to get through all the material. Lori says, is this for the advanced class? Yes, you also get, let me put that in here in the chat box. If you go to the advanced class, so let me tell you the website, and put in the promo code 10 off, then you can also get 10% off of the advanced class. So investwithteri.com. investwithteri.com/courses. All right, I just put that into the chat, and then the promo code is 10 off. Okay, and then cool. So those 2 things, if you want the advanced class, then go to investwithteri.com/courses, click advanced, and put in that 10 off promo code, and that'll give you 10 off of that. This offer that I just put up it'll go directly to the trade and travel course. So the intro one for $19.97, and it'll take 10% off of that. And so sorry y'all for the beeps. That's actually Facebook. Other questions? Will this doc be available to us to rewatch? Yes, Robert, it will. Is this for the client? Okay, how long is the course? When does the next course start? Tanya, it starts on Monday, April 15th. So the online course, you can enroll in that anytime and take it anytime. But the live group coaching calls with me, we start our first one for the spring next Monday. And the calls are at 8 p.m. Central Time. That's 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I try to give enough time for people to get off of work, get settled. You can watch it from your cell phone or your computer. So even if you like get in the bed, you can watch it. We have no judgments. Like I do it in my room or living room. So you will not be judged. Just take it from the bed. But there's also, I want to give enough time for the California people. So if I do 8 o'clock Central, that's 6 o'clock their time, they can at least get off of work. So we start on Monday, the 15th. How long is the course? Okay, we answered that. Do you have any advice for broke college students trying to break the cycle of poverty in their family? Yes, Danielle, my advice is start investing. Take a course so that you're not just, wasting money. Because I did that for a long time. I didn't take a course and I was trying to figure it out on my own. And there's a ton of like YouTube and different things out there, but that can easily get confusing. Like, and it can easily get overwhelming too, because you have this book and this thing and everybody trades differently. So I'd say get into one program where you can learn that person's whole system, their whole trading plan, and then practice that. And then that way, as you're starting to make money, you'll know how to trade with those bonuses that you get and that extra tax return that you get. You'll already know how to make that money grow as you grow. Yes, there is a payment plan. Some people ask me, is there a payment plan? Yes. So if you click that link, you should be able to see the payment plans. Is there a payment plan for the advanced course? Yes, David, that 10 off discount code, it goes for the advanced class. Just go into the website, go to courses, do advanced, and it's called VIP program. That's what the advanced is called. So I'm sorry if I confuse you guys, but it's called VIP program. And then when you go to pay, actually, let me just do it. I'm going to show you guys this. Okay. So this will give you like a little preview, guys, of what the course looks like. So when you're in Trade and Travel, you actually get access to all of these courses, all 4 of them. And then the curriculum looks like this. So with the intro to the stock market, and I know I'm going to come back to what we just said with the advanced class and payment plan, but let me just show you real quick what this curriculum looks like. But with the curriculum, it looks like this. And I tell you an introduction to the stock market. Then we talk about funding a brokerage account, how to pick good companies, how to actually make the trade. Then I've had live coaching calls from before, so you can see those. So that's like intro to the stock market. Then with risk management, we actually talk through my biggest mistake. So I tell you about the time that I've lost the most money, and then what mistakes I made in that. I think that you can learn a lot out of your failures, and I'm really transparent with my students about that. So this is a stock that I made. I lost a ton of money in, so I tell you guys about that story. Then we go through and talk through how do you actually solve for all of those things that I did wrong and that many traders do wrong. So I give you the mistake and then the solution that helps protect us in our portfolios. And that also has group coaching. Then we talk through charts. So someone asked me earlier, Cherry, do you teach people how to read charts? So yes, we talk through candlestick charts. And I actually tell you guys what I call the story of the candlesticks. So I teach you how to read the charts, not just from a do this, do that, do this, but I want you to understand what's happening when you see the chart. If you can understand that, then you can make really great decisions when the stock gets to a certain price. Then I give you guys my method. This is the 7-step strategy I was telling you guys about. Then I actually do videos on each one of those things. How do you determine your entry? How do you determine your exit? How do you determine your stop? And then we go into a little bit more on stops. And then I give you a piece about, you actually get to see me trading live. Well, it was live, but I record me trading in the morning, trading at lunch, and trading at the close. So you can see me do these things I've been teaching you to do. And then there's more, but that's kind of an example of what it looks like. And someone asked about how to reach the advanced. So if you go to investwithteri.com/courses, it gives you these 2 pull-ups. So if we were to click on the VIP program, that's the advanced one, and you go to enroll, it's just going to take you down here to the bottom. Go, just select the paid course. Like I said, there are payments even for the advanced, but I want you to know that these payments end up usually being a little more expensive than paying in full. So pick which one you want, press enroll. And here where it says add coupon, this is where you're going to click and put in 10 off. Apply. And see, it takes off $500. So that 10% gives you $500 off if you buy today. Yeah. So it's a really good deal. And then you just come in here and you put in your credit card info and you're in. And then you get immediate access. So once you buy it, you get immediate access to the course. You can start watching it this weekend and preparing for our Monday calls. And when you start as an advanced student, VIP, you still will come in and learn my whole strategy from the trade and travel course. And then we just add on those extra pieces. Does that make sense? I hope I answered your question there. And then let me see. I want to make sure I get to your questions. So here, I'm going to turn the screen off. David says, where do I sign? David, please go ahead and press the enroll button onto that in that offer. And all right, I think that's it. Did I answer all of your questions? Let's see. If we get into the trade and travel course now and have the money to get into the advanced class, do we just pay the difference of the full? Yes. So Pearl, if you invest now into the trade and travel course, I have a separate link for you to upgrade to advanced later, and it'll be the same $5,000 price. So you'll just pay the extra $3,000 to join that class later. How would you say a complete novice would do in the course? The language of numbers makes no sense to me, and I'm afraid none of this will make sense. Whitney, so I actually teach a lot of complete novices. And so one of the other things I wanted to show you guys on here was some of the testimonials. But I've gotten so many testimonials of how I'm a really great teacher. And I think that I was in education field for 10 years. I told you guys before I quit, I was an assistant principal of an elementary school. I've been around education and teachers and learning how to teach for a long time. So one of the biggest compliments I get is that I'm a good teacher and I can make complex things really simple. So Whitney, I think you actually would really enjoy the intro class, the trade and travel class. I wouldn't do the advanced class just yet. Just do the trade and travel. And then once you get that, you can see if you want to upgrade to advanced. But that's something that I've been told that I'm actually really good at. In trade and travel, we only get online course and no access to you. Tony, actually, those group coaching calls I told you about on Monday, they're actually for the trade and travel group. So you actually get those group coaching calls with me, and you can ask your questions on Monday. And I do those usually once a quarter, and we'll have several weeks of those group coaching calls. So no, you have access to me, but you just don't have the personal one-on-one with me. So if you have a question, I'll usually say, oh, great, that's a great question. We'll cover it on our Monday call, versus someone in the advanced classes could say, Teri, I'm really struggling with this. Can we set up a one-on-one? Does that make sense? That's how you kind of the difference. In the course webinar that you can watch at your own pace. Yes, Tanya, the whole course, you guys just saw it. The whole course is online and you can watch it at your own pace. Any other calls? I know this thing kicks you off. In like 6 minutes, it's going to kick us off. So I don't want that to happen. Okay, thank you. How much money do you need to input in the margin account? Oh, great question. So the company that we use is called TradeStation. They ask that you so you're going to designate that it's a margin account from the jump. Even without any money in it, it'll be a margin account. But they're going to ask you to initially fund the account with $500. And that gives you access to their simulator, which is a simulator that we use so that you can trade with fake money. And it's a bank account. It's just like any other bank account. The money is yours. It's just going to sit in there. You can link it to your personal bank account so that you can move the money back and forth. But just when you initially open it, they'll ask you to open it with at least $500. Yeah, but then you'll be able to trade with 4 times the money in there. I suggest that once you start getting good at paper trading, then you can decide how much money you want to put in the account. And I would divide it like however much your cash account, times that by 0.01. That's about how much money you'll be looking to make a day. So if you have $5,000, then your daily goal would be $50 a day, which is still good. That's $250 a week, $1,000 a month extra just by trading 5,000. But as you want your daily goal to increase, then you'll know how to increase the cash amount in your account. Does that make sense? Let's see if there's any other questions. So Pearl says, so in the trade and travel class, do we have access to your watch list in the simulated trading? Yes. In the trade and travel class, you have access to my watch list. Actually, I showed you guys the curriculum. In that picking good company section, we actually go through each one of the companies on my watch list, and I show you guys how I actually look at it. So, yep, you do get access to my watch list. David said, what's the website again? It is investwithteri.com/courses. So I'll type it in here. investwithteri.com/courses. That's for the advanced class. If you're doing just trade and travel, you should be good on the offer. Do you guys still see the offer there? Okay, good. Yeah, you got 12 more minutes to get that 10% off. So click enroll and you can get that 10% off. And just FYI, if this meeting disconnects, because I think it'll disconnect in the next 3 minutes, I'll still leave the offer timer on. So you guys can still go in and enroll. Let me tell you how to do that. If you go to investorsavvy.org, or with any of the courses, honestly, you could go into just how I showed you guys to go into the course and put that promo code of 10 off. That works for both the advanced course, and the VIP program, and the trade and travel course. So just go to enroll now. Like if this disconnects for any reason, go to enroll now, and then where it says add coupon, put in 10 off. And then let me see some more questions. Once we take your course, do we have lifetime access to you? Yes, you do. Pearl says no coupon code. Yes, the coupon code is 10 off. I just put it there in the chat box again for you to see. 10 off. And know that that's a 0, 10, 1, 0, and then off. So you don't confuse the 0 and the O. But you don't need a coupon code if you just click the offer. It'll go straight to the page with the 10% off already embedded. Any other questions? I know someone asked me earlier about margin. So with the margin account, depending on your brokerage, like it'll automatically apply the four times the cash amount or 2 times the cash amount, whichever your brokerage does. But the way that you use it is, say for example, like I'm buying Amazon stock and I want to buy, it's trading right now at $1,800, but I only have $1,000 in my account. The bank will actually allow me to trade with 4 times the money in my account. So it'll let me trade with $4,000. That way I can actually buy now I can buy 2 shares of Amazon stock, even though I only have $1,000 in there. But it only lets me use that money for a day. So I'll need to sell those shares by tomorrow. And that way the bank gets their money back and I get to keep any profit. Or if there's a loss, I just have to pay it out of my cash account. So that's kind of how the margin works. And somebody asked me a question earlier too about, well, what's the risk? But we actually cover that in our class. I teach you how to avoid the risk so that you can also avoid risk with using margin. And if you don't want to use the margin, you don't have to. It's almost like a home equity line of credit or something like that, where you have the money there, but you don't have to use it. But if you guys have more questions, I'm sure some of you guys are going to sign up for the course, and then we can talk about it more in depth there too. Yeah. Or send me a DM on Instagram. I'm there. My Instagram name is @I'mAnInvestor. So you guys can reach out to me there too. I'll put that here. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to let you guys go. I know that the timer is not out on the offer. So you guys still have some time to get into the course with this 10% off discount. Did it go? Ooh, y'all better hurry up and use that offer. Okay, but don't forget, you can go to investwithteri.com, enroll, and just use that promo code. Once you go to the enroll page, it'll say add coupon. Use 10 off as the coupon. And I just thank you guys so much for joining me. This has been such a wonderful time with you guys tonight, and I hope that you now see how investing can help you build wealth. All right, hope to see some of you guys in class.